students, today we will see counter current mechanism in our kidney. Okay, counter current mechanism in our body is not only in kidney but also we can see in the skin as well. Okay, so in our kidney, flow of blood in vasa recta and Henle's loop is in counter current manner. That means we have Henle's loop two parts, right? Ascending and descending loop. Likewise, in vasa recta we have ascending and descending loop. So they are in opposite directions. Ascending means the flow of filtrate in the upward direction. Descending means the flow of filtrate in the downward direction. So they are in opposite. So that they are arranged in counter, okay, counter current manner. Counter current manner. This that is opposite direction. Why this has to be done? Because if we lose more amount of water, we will be dehydrated, so we will die. So it should not happen, no. We need water for every metabolism of our body, so the water has to be reabsorbed. So you should be clear, 180 liters of water is filtrated by glomerular filtrate rate, but we lose only 1 to 2 liter of water. So 99.9% of water is reabsorbed. That mechanism is maintained by counter current pattern. Okay, in our cortex we have two layers in our kidney, correct? The outer part is cortex and the inner part below this is medulla, correct? So in the medulla, as the nephron reaches down from the cortex to the medulla, the solute content increases. See, the urine released out will be concentrated or hydrated with respect to our body fluids. Okay, so if our body fluid is in hypotonic condition, that is, hypotonic condition means less amount of solute, then the urine will be concentrated, because the urine produced is with respect to our body fluids. So in the cortex we have 300 milliosmol, means in the cortex the urine, the filtrate is less concentrated. This amount indicates the presence of solute. So 300 is less, so the solute is less content in the cortex. While we come to the medulla, the number is 1200. 4 times it's increased, right? So 4 times it is concentrated, 4 times the solute is added. That's addition is done by this urea and sodium chloride. Okay, how? First we will deal with sodium chloride. The sodium chloride moves from the ascending limb of the Henle's loop to the descending limb of the vasa recta. Please note this. First step of sodium chloride is moves from the ascending limb after the filtrate reaches from the proximal convoluted tubule to the descending limb and moves to the ascending limb. So this ascending limb is permeable to electrolytes, impermeable to water. But the descending limb of Henle's loop is permeable to water but impermeable to solute. Keep that in mind. The ascending limb, okay, ascending limb of Henle's loop permeable to water, so permeable to solute, permeable to solute. Okay, so the sodium chloride flows from the ascending limb of the Henle's loop to the descending limb of the vasa recta, and then the vasa recta descending limb, it goes, correct. The sodium chloride moves to the descending limb of vasa recta, no. So then the ascending limb of vasa recta loses the sodium chloride to the interstitium. Interstitium means the tissue between this vasa recta and the Henle's loop, the spaces we can say between the tubes, the Henle's loop and vasa recta. So the ascending limb only loses the sodium chloride to the interstitium. Then we will come to the urea mechanism. This urea move from interstitium to the ascending limb of the Henle's loop. See here, sodium chloride moves from the ascending limb to the descending limb of vasa recta, and urea move from the interstitium to the ascending limb of Henle's loop. Then after the ascending limb reaches the collecting tubule. No more ascending limbs reaches the connecting tubule, that is the distal convoluted tubule and the collecting tubule. The collecting tubule again loses the urea to the interstitium. Okay, so the increase in solute concentration in the interstitium is seen. Why? The vasa recta also loses sodium chloride in the interstitium, as well as the collecting tubule also loses the urea in the interstitium. So I told you, correct, the urine formed is with respect to our body fluid. So our body fluid is now concentrated, so the urine will also be concentrated. So as increase in solute in the interstitium, so water flow from the collecting tubules to the interstitium, which makes the urine in the collecting tubule concentrated. What is osmosis? The movement of water from the low concentration of water to a higher concentration of water to low concentration of water. That's what is happening here. In interstitium we have low concentration of water. So the collecting tubules loses water to the interstitium. So we will see this in picture. So this is the ascending limb of our nephron, correct? Here the sodium chloride loses out, and this descending limb of vasa recta gains the sodium chloride, and again the ascending limb loses the sodium chloride in the interstitium. This is what the sodium chloride mechanism. The loss of sodium chloride by the ascending limb of Henle's loop, the gain of sodium chloride by the descending limb of vasa recta, and again the loss of sodium chloride from the ascending limb of vasa recta to the interstitium. This increases the solute concentration in the interstitium. And if urea, you see the urea is lost out from the descending, that is the collecting tubule, to the interstitium. So the solute content increases. These are the interstitium. I told you, no, the tissue between these tubules is what? Interstitium. So the urea also increased here, as well as the sodium chloride also increased here. So the solute concentration in the interstitium increase. So as it moves down, the osmolarity is 1200, indicates the increase in the solute concentration. That's what our urine is also concentrated. That's it, the counter current mechanism. If you have any doubt, please comment in the comment section. Thank you.